Today I'm going to be reviewing and testing out this Erayak Tank Series battery inverter that was recently sent to me by the brand. Now, this is going to be 1,000 watt. That's going to be the regular, and then it has a 2,000 watt peak on this specific one, which is their Tank 1,000 watt. So the Tank 1,000 means it's 1,000 watt. They do have 2,000 watt, and then the peak is going to be double of that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, show you what it is, and then I will take it outside and test it using a car battery. This is what it's going to look like. So it's going to come with a few extra fuses. Those are going to be in the black bags. Going to come with 2 cords. So your red and your black, your positive and your negative. It is going to have the bolts right on to here. So that's going to be how you will connect those up. It comes with those, and then also comes with the nuts as well that you will use, as well as the washers on those. And then same thing on this one. It looks like it just fell off of the one screw actually. So this is going to be your other screw. So it's got all that on there for you to connect it up to there. And then you're going to connect it up to your battery using this. Now I definitely would prefer if this had clamps on the end versus you having to unscrew things and connect it in. I understand it's probably just, because you want it to be securely attached. So I understand that, but I definitely would prefer if it had like traditional like clamps. So if you just want to use this for a little bit, you can easily put the clamps on versus having to unscrew things, screw things back in, etc. So I definitely would prefer that on this. Now, this is going to have 2 different options for your power. So you've got 2 of those. And it's also going to have USB, USB, and USB-C as well. So essentially this is going to allow you to invert your power from a car battery to traditional power that you would use for your devices. You can use this to power anything as long as it is going to be under 2,000 watts peak. So that's going to be like microwaves. Large microwaves are probably going to be over that, but anything lower than that, right? So I'm talking like probably coffee makers are going to be less than that peak. You're going to have some like fans and those sorts of things are probably going to lessen that peak. So you can use this for a ton of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all connected up. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about in regards to it being easier. If it was clamps, I'm obviously going to have to unscrew the one and then unscrew the other. Now you can just kind of put them on as well, like put them onto there at the top, and I'll see if that works. I believe it would, but I'd have to hold this on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unscrew that and unscrew that. But just if they would have traditional clamps, I feel like it would be considerably easier than having to unscrew this. Now I ran into an issue when putting this on, and that is one of these posts is going to be inside bigger than the other by just enough. So the small post you need to make sure you have put onto here, and then the large post is going to go into your battery cable. And I found that out when I tried to put the small post on the battery cable because I had it in backwards. So it is going to be a little bit on the annoying side. Doesn't say that, like nothing on here says one side in. Now it might say all that on the instructions, but just important to note, make sure that you have the small one on the inverter and the large one goes on your battery post. So I got that swapped around and put on. So now I'm just going to push the little power button on there. I'm not sure if it has to be held. Yes. So you do have to hold down on the power button, and it's going to tell you what my battery is currently at, right? So I can charge now with USB, with plugging it in. My battery is currently at 12.2 volts on here. You can see the kilowatts. 70% is what they say the battery is, I assume. So maybe it's going to use up to 70% of that on here. But my inverter is now ready to be used. So I'm going to go ahead and grab something and plug it in and test that out. I'm going to go ahead and try a vacuum. Now a vacuum is going to be pull quite a bit of power. So I'm not sure if it's going to work. If it doesn't, what'll happen is this inverter is designed to kick off automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. This is hard to do even with 2 hands because I don't want to set the vacuum down because I'm outside. But I just want to kind of showcase what's going to happen if it's a lot of power that's being pulled, right? So I've got the vacuum. Let's go and turn it on. And no. So that was pulling too much power on startup. And so you heard it make that beep, right? Did it again. So it's trying to pull oh, never mind. There we go. It actually turned on, but then it's going red, right? So this is going to be pulling too much power. So I'm going to go and unplug it. It's going to be pulling too much power for that to actually work. So that is something this vacuum is obviously designed to pull, I think the uprights, everything I read online said they're like 1,000 to 1,500, but then startup can be even more, right? When it gets going, because it's got this that turns, everything that turns in there, so that could be more. So let me get something smaller. Now, obviously there's going to be a big difference in the power draw of, say, a lamp versus a vacuum, right? Vacuums, other appliances like those, they're just really going to struggle to do that, right? You can see this is easily powered up, off, on. no problem at all. Now, if this is pulling a lot of power, there's going to be a little fan on this that is going to turn on as well to kind of keep this cooler. You can see this is going to work good for a variety of different things. The plugs on the front, USB-Cs, USB that you can use to charge all sorts of different things off of the battery. Now, this is a battery on a car, right? But what I could easily foresee you doing with this is maybe you charge a battery using some solar or something like that. Then you use this inverter to get to a plug, and then you use that to get actual power. So now you've got like a bank of batteries that you connect up, and then you connect this up to it, and then now you can run things with that. You could also just use it like you're out camping, like, oh, I need to run some lights or something like that. You know, you've got an extra battery laying around, then you just charge the battery up, and then you can run off of traditional battery using this inverter. Now again, this is only going to be 1,000 watt, so this is not going to work for super high powered things. It's not going to work for a heater, for an air conditioner. Even the vacuum wasn't able to handle it. Not going to work for a microwave, but it will work for in a variety of other circumstances. And as you can see, working perfectly just to plug right in.